welcome to Seed to Life. I hope you're doing well and keeping safe. There are more than 2000 types of fruits in the world, and then there are varieties of each. And just think about how many types of fruits do you eat? The number may be around 20 for me, but there is so much more to explore. I always make sure to stop by at the exotic fruits section in the stores in the hope to find some new fruits that I haven't tried before. Today, we are going to see one more fruit that now cannot be called as an exotic fruit because about 33 different varieties are cultivated just in the US. But it is ancient. It is known by the name fruit of romance because there is a very interesting history associated with this fruit that you would love to hear. It is still not a very common fruit. It is lychee or lychee, whatever you say. I'm pretty sure that many people may not have tried this fruit yet. It is a seasonal fruit, and unlike apples, oranges or grapes, it is not available throughout the year. It perishes quickly, so not an easy food to store. So today in this video we are going to find out the origin of the fruit, toxicity associated with this fruit, which is very important, health benefits, care requirements, then a germination method that I used and worked best for me. Just a note here that most fruit trees are grown from cuttings because that way they grow faster and produce earlier. However, not everyone has access to good quality trees, and some of us like me like to experiment, isn't it? Now, let's go back more than 1,000 years in the northern subtropical rainforests of southern China. The wild trees in the forest grew these beautiful reddish spiky fruits that had succulent white pulp inside. They tasted delicious, but unfortunately they are perishable and spoil really fast. The trees grow in southern part of the China, and on the other side of the country in northwest China's Shaanxi province there was one famous EmperorXionzong of Tang, and he was living with his extremely beautiful and fashionable lady of the time who was his favorite concubine. Her name was Yang Yuan. Lychees were her favorite fruits, and she was the favorite of her husband, the Emperor Xianzong. To bring smile to his lovely Yuan's face, the emperor created a special courier service that included swift horses. The riders tried their best to get these fruits to the empress. Can you imagine riding thousands of miles across the country just to get the fresh fruits to the empress? Or just for that beautiful smile of her? It is said that the horses and the riders were changed at certain intervals, but to the emperor, the smile on his mistress's cheek and a twinkle in her eye was more precious than the efforts. The lavishness of this story was captured in words by a poet named Mu from Tang Dynasty. It reads, "A horse gallops across the land at full speed, and the concubine laughs. Who else knows it is lychees coming?" No wonder why the lychees are considered in China the finest of delicacies and a symbol of romance. There is a variety of lychee that is named as smiling concubine. Now, despite being extremely efficient, still it was not practically possible to bring fresh lychees to the kingdom. So, to keep them fresh longer, the courier teams used to bring the unripe lychees along with the tops of the trees, and they used to pick them when they came closer to their destination. Then they also used to cut off the branches along with these fruits and put them in the containers and seal them with wax. How amazing is that? Since the proper postal services developed about 1,000 years later, it is true, when there is a need, there is a way. Then later, European travelers spotted its amazing taste and documented it. Eventually, they were brought to the Western countries by a Polish missionary, Michael Boehm. So this is how an ordinary fruit from today has thousands of years history behind it. Today, other than China, India and its neighboring countries are its main producers. Even the US has more than 33 different varieties that are being cultivated. Coming back to the present, let's see what this fruit can bring to our table. Lychees are mainly rich in vitamin C or ascorbic acid. You might have seen the fruits that look like normal lychee, that is called longan or rambutan. And they both are also cultivars of lychee and they are high in vitamin C. Other than vitamin C, lychees also contain various minerals like potassium, calcium, sodium, phosphorus, magnesium, and then some micro elements like iron, manganese, zinc, and copper. So you can imagine why the lychee juice is so refreshing. There is one precaution that you might want to take while consuming lychees. You may want to avoid eating these fruits on empty stomach. And this is very important because not just lychee but longan and rambutan, the fruits that come from soapberry family, contain some unusual amino acids that can cause hypoglycemia, and it can lead to fatal hypoglycemic encephalopathy. For those of you who don't know what encephalopathy is, it is a disease that affects brain and can cause seizures or impaired mental functions. This was called as a mysterious lychee disease because the reason was not known. Malnourished children from Asian countries like India, Nepal, Bangladesh who lived near lychee plantation were eating these fruits in high quantities. Unripe fruits have higher concentration of hypoglycine, and that was the reason why these kids were falling sick. And people were thinking that it was some kind of viral disease. And there is a similar type of condition called as a Jamaican vomiting sickness that is caused by consumption of ackee fruits. Now we know how important it is to have a balanced diet. Anything in excess is a toxin. My kids eat this fruit, but of course because it is not easily available, I don't have to worry about its such side effects. But people with blood sugar problems or medication may want to be more careful. I think it is okay to eat it after meals or in smaller quantities, but you have to be careful. You can find the research article for more information and talk to your doctor about it if you want to eat these fruits. Now let's see how to grow this fruit. As I mentioned earlier, there are many varieties of lychees and you can grow the one that you like or you can find the seeds of. Lychee grows best in tropical regions. Depending on the soil and the climate, that means the number of hours of sunlight it gets, the mineral and vitamin content differs, and I believe the taste also must be differing. But we have a long way to go. Lychee is a slow maturing tree. It takes years for it to bear fruits. First 3 years or so, don't expect any fruits. Depending on the variety, it might take 5+ years to start producing. Lychee tree doesn't tolerate frost. When the temperature drops below -3 or -4 degrees Celsius, it cannot handle it. In the US, it can be grown in zone 11 and 12 outdoors, but you can grow it indoor in pots during winter. If planted outdoor, the tree can grow more than 30 feet tall, whereas the potted ones can reach up to 10 feet. I have successfully germinated lychee seeds in the past, but they never survived during winter. This time again I have some seedlings and planning to give them adequate care during winter. My plan is to make bonsai out of it. So let's see how it works. Lychee seeds like moist acidic soil and it should be well draining. Now we know what these trees need, and so let's start germinating the seeds. The germination time for lychee seeds is about 1 to 4 weeks. The seeds are pretty hard, so that is something you can expect. I have used the same method that I used to germinate jackfruit seeds. Such hard seeds need to be soaked in the water for days until the outer shell breaks open. So you have to be patient. You can also plant them directly, but soaking will help the seedlings sprout faster. In about 10 to 12 days, the outer cover starts to break open, and that is the perfect time to sow these seeds. Make sure to change the water every day to avoid any fungal infection and rotting of the seeds. As mentioned earlier, the soil has to be rich in organic matter and well draining. You can see here how the endosperm is visible. The seed coat is opening now because it has absorbed so much water. It is soon going to sprout, and this white part is going to turn green, and then they are going to sprout. I could have waited more for the seeds to sprout properly, but then I decided to go ahead and plant them. As I mentioned earlier, that lychees like acidic soil. I used a good potting mix rich with organic matter and added some balanced fertilizer to it. I placed the seeds only about half-inch deep because I didn't want the sprouting seeds to rot. Also, I didn't want them to dry out, so watered them regularly. In about 2 to 3 weeks, the seedlings started emerging, and this is how they looked when they were 1 month old. Lychee seedlings are not delicate, but still for the first few weeks keep them in a semi-shade area if the temperature is very high in your region. But then once they are established, you can move them out in full sun. They love it. Now you can see after 2 months the seedlings are looking healthier and stronger. The leaves are beautiful shiny so far, even when the temperature is dropping to 50 degrees Fahrenheit at night. And in fact, in the last week it went down to almost near zero. I guess this bag works for it perfectly. I'm hopeful that this time the seedlings will make through the winter. I will move them to a bigger pot after the winter is over, and that means in early spring when the freeze is over. And that's it for now. I hope you liked this video and found it interesting. A big thanks to you for watching my videos and supporting my channel Seed to Life. Please click subscribe for more such videos and updates. Click the bell icon to get notified about future videos, and feel free to reach out to me through comments, Facebook, Twitter or Instagram if you have any questions. I am posting the links in the description. I would love to hear your suggestions and would like to know the news of your garden. Happy gardening. Thank you again. See you soon.